An alien woman saw me and wept. What I learned changed everything. HFY Sci-Fi story. I had always thought of myself as a simple man. Nothing special, just a technician working on the outer colonies of the Galactic Alliance. My life was routine. Repair the communications arrays, maintain the machinery, ensure that everything was functioning properly. I wasn't a soldier or a diplomat, just a cog in the machine that kept everything running. I was content, though. At least that's what I told myself. That was until the day I met her. It happened during a routine mission on a barren planet in the system farthest from Earth. I'd been sent with a small team to assist in the repairs of an ancient alien installation discovered by an exploration crew. The installation, buried deep beneath the surface, was a relic from a long-extinct race, one that had been lost to history. No one knew who they were or where they had come from, but their technology was advanced, and it held the potential to change everything we knew about the galaxy. We arrived at the installation and began our work. The air was dry and the environment harsh, but we were used to conditions like these. My team and I moved swiftly, eager to finish the work and return to civilization. But there was something about this place, something that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. As we explored deeper into the ruins, I came across something I hadn't expected. Woman. She was lying on the floor of one of the chambers, her body motionless, her eyes closed. But there was something about her that caught my attention immediately. Something otherworldly. Her skin was a deep shade of purple, her hair shimmering with a silvery hue that seemed to move as if alive. She wore strange, intricate armor that looked both delicate and powerful at the same time. And though she looked almost ethereal, it was clear she had been in stasis for a very long time. I wasn't sure why, but I felt a strange pull toward her. Without thinking, I moved closer, kneeling down beside her. My team had started their work elsewhere, but I couldn't tear my eyes away from her. It wasn't just her beauty. It was the sadness that seemed to radiate from her, even in her unconscious state. I wasn't sure how long I had been staring at her when she suddenly opened her eyes. They were a bright, glowing green, and for a moment I was frozen in place. She blinked, then slowly turned her head to look at me. There was no surprise, no confusion, just an intense, overwhelming sadness. She sat up slowly, her eyes never leaving mine. For a moment there was only silence, the kind that presses in on you, making it hard to breathe. Then she spoke. "You're human," she said, her voice soft but filled with emotion. How did you find me?" Her words caught me off guard. I had never encountered an alien like her before. There were other species in the galaxy, of course, but I'd never had direct contact with one so beautiful, so different. The words tumbled out of my mouth before I could stop them. We're part of the Galactic Alliance. We were just sent here to assist with the installation," I said, my voice shaking slightly. "Who are you? What happened to you?" She looked down at her hands as if they were foreign to her. Her expression darkened, and I could see the weight of centuries in her eyes. "I was part of a people who once ruled this galaxy. But we were cursed. I was the last one left, sent into stasis to preserve our knowledge and protect our legacy. But the curse, it did not let me die. I have been waiting alone for so long." Her voice broke at the end, and for the first time I saw tears glisten in her eyes. The sight of her weeping struck me like a physical blow. I had always thought of alien races as cold, logical, and unemotional. But this alien woman, this being that was so far removed from anything I had known, was filled with grief and pain. She was no different from a human in that respect. "I'm so sorry," I whispered, unsure of what else to say. I felt like an intruder, standing in the midst of her pain, unable to help. But she looked at me again, her expression softening. You don't understand, she said, her voice trembling. I have waited for so long, hoping someone would find me, someone who could carry our legacy forward. But what do I have left? Nothing. My people are gone. I am alone. I felt a deep ache in my chest. I had never been one for grand gestures or deep philosophies, but in that moment, I felt a connection to her. It wasn't just pity, it was something more, something I couldn't fully understand. I had come here to repair machines, but now it seemed that I had come for something else entirely. Something far greater than I had ever expected. I'm not the one you were waiting for, I said, my voice quiet. But maybe you don't have to be alone anymore. She looked at me with a mixture of confusion and surprise. What do you mean? I don't know, I said, taking a deep breath. But I can't just leave you here. You're not the last one. Not if we can do something about it. There's so much more in the universe. You can't just end with this. You don't have to be alone. I don't know how, but we can figure it out. Together. The alien woman studied me, her green eyes searching mine. I wasn't sure if she saw hope in me, or if she was simply tired of waiting. But after what seemed like an eternity, she nodded slowly, her tears still falling but now mixed with something else, something that looked like gratitude. I never thought I would feel this way again, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. I never thought I would find someone who could remind me that we are not alone. Thank you. I reached out without thinking, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. In that moment something changed. The sadness was still there, buried deep within her, but now there was a flicker of hope. Something that had been missing for so long. I wasn't sure what the future held, but I knew this was a turning point. I'm just a technician, I said with a small, uncertain smile. But I think we can figure this out together. As we sat there in the ancient installation, surrounded by the remnants of a lost civilization, we began to talk. I didn't know what to say at first, but somehow we communicated. She told me stories of her people, of their rise and fall, of the wisdom they had shared and the mistakes they had made. She was no longer just a distant, enigmatic figure. I saw her now as a person, someone who had experienced loss in a way I could never have imagined. And in that moment I understood. We didn't need to be alone in the universe. We didn't need to carry our burdens by ourselves. There was always a chance for something more, something beyond what we had been taught to believe. As the hours passed, I knew that this encounter had changed everything. Not just for her but for me too. What had started as a simple mission had turned into something profound. The universe was vast, yes, but in that moment, sitting with this alien woman who had once felt so alone, I realized that no one truly had to be alone.